Apparently, I'm not putting too much effort to actually ask you guys to subscribe to the channel. Because of that, kind of notice that the channel is not growing as it ought to. I'm putting a lot of content, a lot of useful content, and it will go a long way to encouraging me, to giving me some motivation to keep putting out this kind of content. So I want to ask that if you love eBay kind of videos, you want to get valuable tips and tricks on how to win on the platform. If you sell electronics, so it doesn't even matter what category you sell on, but if you are a big fan of selling on eBay, do me a favor, go ahead, like the video, subscribe to the channel, so that a lot of people can actually get to see this channel, so the channel can actually grow, and I'll be motivated more than ever before to continue to give you guys actionable tips on how to grow and sustain your eBay shop. Today is a beautiful day. I'm just right now at a parking lot. My kids are actually training right there, playing football, and I have like 1 hour to chill in the car. I felt like this was the best time for me to just talk to you all. So this video is not going to be scripted. This video is just about me looking around, seeing what's going on, and I'm going to react to certain things. And this morning, as I'm always in the habit of doing, I was watching some YouTube videos on my phone. And then I realized that Palayotech, perhaps you might know him. He sells electronics on eBay. But first things first, let me give a good big shout out to Palayotech. I'm not so sure how you pronounce this name, but bro, pardon me if I'm wrong, but I want to give you a big shout out. I've been watching your channel since like 6 months or so. And yes, I was actually attracted to your channel because you sell electronics. And given that I also sell electronics on eBay, I felt like we might have a thing or two in common, and I really enjoyed your videos. So a big shout out to you this morning. But then back to the gist of today, I'm going to be reacting to the video that Palayotech put out this morning. And also to quickly put it out there that this is not intended in any way to put Palayotech on food blast. We're just going to be learning from the video he shared. And I really do think that one or two things that was said in this video might be very helpful to somebody out there, especially somebody that is just starting out. I'm going to be reacting to the video. Like I said, it's not scripted. I think I just brought out some few points I'll be talking about. I hope I can quickly cover these points before my kids will finish football. And I'm really hopeful that some of these points, some of you already know these things, but I still do know, like I always say in my videos, there's going to be somebody somewhere that's going to find this very helpful. And it doesn't matter if you know these things. Sometimes it's always good to echo it again, to say it over and over again, because it might pretty much be something that somebody has been waiting to hear that will change his or her life around. So I'm going to be reacting to the video that Palayotech put up on YouTube today. In case you don't know, like I said, Palayotech has been a big time seller of electronics on eBay, and he also makes YouTube videos, even though he doesn't really identify himself as a YouTuber, which is something I also respect about him, you know. So long story short, he's pivoting his shop, pulling everything down, and actually pivoting to sell clothing on eBay. So I'm going to be reacting to the points that he made on the video. And if you've not seen the video, please do make sure to watch it out, to check it out. I'm going to be linking it up here. Perhaps you might also get a thing or two that might be relevant to you or important to you. So the first thing that he said in the video was that he actually built his eBay shop, his electronics eBay shop, around sourcing from just one supplier. You know, this is something I talk about on a lot of my videos, that if you are setting out to starting an eBay shop, it doesn't matter how hard it is. Sometimes getting a reliable supplier might be very tricky, might look difficult. And what people do is that whenever they are able to identify one supplier, they pretty much want to remain with that supplier. Things are moving smoothly, you are balling, you are getting a lot of goods, high quality goods. You just forget sometimes to think about the fact that, yes, this supplier, just like you found it, somebody else could find it out. This supplier could easily go out of business and you might not have any supply anymore. So if you've built your shop around one supplier, this is dangerous. And Palayotech actually noted it. He said he knew that this was not a good game to play, but then he kept playing it until finally the supplier woke up one day and pretty much, I don't know, supply stopped according to him. So now, what's the lesson to learn here? The lesson is this: no matter how beautiful it might be, no matter how beautiful your relationship might be with one supplier, in fact, as a matter of urgency, if you are somebody out there, you have an eBay shop, and right now you get almost all your inventory from just one supplier, go back to the drawing board and begin to see how you can onboard more suppliers. It doesn't matter how you think the supplier has developed a very good relationship with you. You are pretty much like their right-hand man. Nothing goes into the supplier's shop without you being aware. It doesn't matter. Things happens. According to Playotech, he said life happens. He knows. The supplier could easily go out of business. Supplier could suffer a kind of a setback. And if this supplier is just your only source of inventory, it's pretty much your lifeline. If the supplier goes out of business, you are also out of business. Sorry guys, it's raining and I just have to close the windows of the car, and I don't know how I'm going to do that because I'm pretty much going to be sweating, but I just don't want rain to keep coming into the car. All right, let's see how we can rush through this. All right, like I was saying, if one supplier strategy is the game you are still playing in 2024, understand that this doesn't lead anywhere. You are just pretty much, there's going to be this doomsday, and it's certainly almost invariably going to come because life happens. The supplier can go out of business. Somebody can undercut you. Supplier finds a better reseller to give the inventory store, and the reseller is offering even better prices. You might be caught out just with one email or one SMS. And when that happens, it can pretty much mean an end to all what you have been working for. So what's the takeaway? As much as you can, look for how you can onboard more suppliers. It might be difficult to get, but begin to test suppliers out. Yes, let's say you already have goods on your shop. Things are going pretty well. Things are going good. It doesn't matter. Whenever you get some free money, try to see how you can develop a new relationship, especially with a supplier that sells almost similar products, so that it won't be difficult for you to begin to switch the lingua. You already understand the terms in the business. So try as much as possible to do this work while you still have the possibility to. Just think for a second how inconveniencing it will be if you have been building your shop all around one supplier, and then suddenly you wake up one day, you try to order some new inventories, and then you receive the SMS, sorry, it's not going to be possible. We are pretty much going through some crisis, and that might be a very big blow for your shop. And if you are not ready for it, it could pretty much mean that you'll be going out of business. Another point that he raised was that, yes, he tried to source things from the flea market, from thrift stores, but it wasn't really working because he was pretty much used to selling about 80 to 100 sales a day. You know, this is also something that happens when you try to pivot your shop. If you're already used to doing high volumes, sometimes it's always very difficult when you try to pivot. Playotech is used to selling a lot of items a day, and wasn't really working out when he tried to begin to do the thrift store route, and pretty much felt like it wasn't something that he wanted to keep doing. Because truth be said, sometimes it's very hard to get decent electronics just on the thrift stores. These items, they are like, everybody's eyes are on these very good items, and sometimes when you go out to thrift, you'll be getting some things here and there, but you can't really get a lot that will really encourage you to keep going out to thrift. Yes, I know this problem because I sell electronics also, and I know that sometimes it's very, very hard to get decent electronics in the thrift store. So what's the takeaway? The takeaway is, when you are thinking of selling in the electronics category of eBay, always try to set a realistic expectation. Yes, if you sell electronics, don't expect that you'll be doing like 80 to 100 sales a day, except you have, like I said, a gigantic supplier that is ready to give you a lot of stuff at really, really, really good prices. So this is a realistic expectation that you need to set right from the go. If you are going into selling electronics and you think that you will be like some of the eBay YouTubers do to show the volumes that you've sold 60 items in the last 2 weeks, this is not going to happen. This is always good for you to set realistic expectations. If you are out there in the electronics category, 10 items a day, 10 items a week, 10 quality sales a week is just good enough for you 20 quality sales is good enough for you. There are so many reasons for this. We'll be going to why it's very tricky to want to scale an electronics shop on eBay, especially if you are just a one-man show. And this we'll be talking about when we get to the points that actually addresses feedback. So if you are a one-person operation, the good thing you want to do, set realistic expectation. It doesn't matter if you're actually selling in the electronics category of eBay. It also cuts across every category of eBay in which you plan to sell. Always set a realistic expectation. Sometimes you live in a place where you don't have access to good inventories. Setting the right expectation is also going to help you not to begin to feel bad when you are only having 2 sales, or when you only have access to very, very few not interesting inventories. Don't feel bad. Just keep looking at your unfair advantage. Hopefully, if you are able to set a realistic expectation, it's going to help you on the long run. eBay, don't forget, is not a sprint, it's a marathon. If from the get-go you're able to tell yourself, look, this is going to be a business I'm going to run on the side, or it's going to be my full-time gig, but this is the expectation I have. I want to make so and so. I want to make 300 euros a week. I want to make 300 euros a month. I want to make $500 a month. If you are able to set this expectation in line with your reality, it's going to go a long way to help you. The third thing that he said in the video was that it's not working and he's ready to make a pivot. This, I salute you, Paleotech. Like I said, if I'm not pronouncing the name very well, bro, please forgive me. Yes, he said that it wasn't working, and he did a holistic check on his shop and saw that, look, this is not what he wants to do. He wants to roll with the big boys, selling like 180 items a day or 80 items in 2 days. This was good, and he saw it that it's not going to work with this strategy that he has of sourcing, going to the thrift stores, and he wasn't scared to make a pivot. That is the mindset of somebody that wants to succeed on eBay. Learn to look at your shop. When you see that things are not working, don't be scared to make a pivot. You see, if you are set out to be an entrepreneur, go with the mindset that, look, pivoting your shop or pivoting your business is part of the process. You never can tell where the good luck is hiding. It might just be that he's going to be the next big thing when it comes to clothing, like he has hinted that he's going to go this route of selling clothing. Don't be scared to make a pivot. If you see that nothing is working, if you see that you are having a really, really difficult time getting inventories, don't be scared to just say, you know what, guys, you owe nobody no apology. You owe your customers, your buyer, the buyers of eBay, no apology. You even owe eBay no apology in pivoting your shop. If you see that it's not working, make the bold step, observe your due diligence, and make the pivot. Go for it, my bro. It might just be the best thing that's going to happen. And then he talked about feedback. Apparently, because Paleotech was just a one-man operation, he didn't have the capacity to test all these items. He was getting a lot of stuff from his suppliers. Like, according to him, he got quite a lot of stuff, good prices, you know. There was just no way he could actually go through and test all these items. Sometimes, I know this kind of supplies, sometimes you get like a carton load of phones, defective phones. Sometimes they are not chargers, sometimes they are not batteries, sometimes there are just some scratches or cracks on the screen. You can't physically check all these things, except you have a very huge operation where you have workers on ground, not virtual staff, but workers on ground to actually check through these items. It's going to be difficult for you to actually go through and check all these items yourself. What happened because of this? He kept getting negative feedbacks. And this is something that it's not acceptable, especially when you sell electronics. Electronics are such that they are very interesting items. Let me put it that way, for lack of a better word. People's eyes are on this category. A lot of people want to buy electronics, and they want these electronics to come in very good condition. Sometimes, like you all know, the buyers on eBay, they are so in a hurry, don't know why it happens. They sometimes never ever bother to read clearly through the description. They just buy an item because they see that it's listed for a very great price, and then the item arrives and the buyer realizes that, oh, it's a defective item, and then they want to send it back. Sending it back shouldn't normally be a problem, but some of these sellers don't know why they do it. They actually go ahead to leave you a negative review. So what's the takeaway here? If you want to sell in the electronics category, first you have to scale your shop pretty strategically. Make sure as you are trying to scale your shop, you've also put the structures in place to ensure that the items that you are listing on your shop are pretty much tested. You see, when I started selling on eBay many years ago, I also went the route of selling defective items. It just didn't work because these guys, these buyers, they don't read the descriptions, and sometimes it's just a hassle. Even if you sometimes, then I remember I will set up my description. I will even mark the text in red. This item is defective. Stay clear if you want a functioning item. It doesn't matter. People still buy it, and then they write me or open a case, return case on eBay and say the item is defective, item not as described. Funny reasons, and it just wasn't helping me. I tried it, tried to sell defective item. You know what? At the end of the day, I said no, this is not the best model. So I decided that anything that was going to go on my shop must be tested and must be in excellent working condition. And if a customer tries to return it as an item that's defective, even when it's working, depending on my mood, I can actually go ahead and take up the case and make a complaint to eBay. So if you don't have the structure in place, please stay away from selling defective items because it's going to definitely come back and bite you. There's just so many negative feedbacks that eBay is going to tolerate. If your account keeps getting negative upon negative feedbacks, a time is going to come. First, you're going to lose your top seller status on eBay. You're going to become an average seller, and then ultimately the algorithm is just going to push you into one container where you pretty much have a difficult time to make a sale. So if you're going to go the electronics route, make sure you have adequate structures in place to actually test the items you are listing on the platform. It's also important to state that it shouldn't only be electronics. It doesn't matter what you sell on eBay. Just make sure you have structures in place to ensure that the items are checked and you actually do a good job by listing items that are in very, very good condition. All right, it's ready again, and I have to close the window again. Okay, so where were we? We talked about the feedback thing, which was really hurting his shop. And yes, I know this problem. Long time ago, I was knocked out of my top rated seller position on eBay, and my sales suffered greatly for it. So that brings me to the next point. We are almost at the end of the gist, and the point is Paleotech is trying to make a pivot on an old eBay shop. I wouldn't know the strategy that this is trying to deploy here, but if my advice would be anything to go by, if you are trying to make a pivot on a shop, especially a shop that is already having some bad feedback, some negative experience in terms of returns and all that, I would pretty much advise that you go ahead and set up a new shop. Like I said, I wouldn't know the strategy that Paleotech is trying to deploy here and why he's actually doing this. This shop is already enshrined, it is a word like that. It's already like knitted into the fabrics of the eBay algorithm as a shop that sells electronics. And if you go on Google, you try to Google this shop, you also see that this shop comes up as an electronic seller on eBay. And if you now want to pivot this shop and do clothing, I wouldn't know if that's not going to hurt the traffic that comes to your shop, because sometimes the algorithm, nobody really knows how it works. But if my imagination is something to go by, perhaps the algorithm will keep showing your items to people that are not interested. So you might want to look through that. So for you out there, if you are trying to pivot your shop, like I said, if my advice is anything to go by, I really advise you to do this pivot on a new shop. Yes, I can imagine that Paleotech might be trying to keep his sold item count, which is kind of a social proof on your shop, because people sometimes, truth be said, are just scared of buying from a new seller. If you try to buy an item and you see that the seller has just two reviews, sometimes you want to go elsewhere, especially when you see that this is an account that was just opened a few weeks ago. People are just sentimental about buying from new accounts, but old account that already has a lot of reviews, social proof, sometimes doesn't have this kind of hurdle that new accounts tends to have. So to the next point, Paleotech also hinted that he's making this pivot to sell clothing because he pretty much hopes to get less returns and less headache. When I heard that, I wasn't so sure if it was the eBay that I know, because the eBay I know, it doesn't matter the category you sell on. Returns are part of the whole process. It doesn't matter if you sell electronics category, if you sell clothing, if you sell shoes, Someone correct me if I'm wrong, especially if there are people selling shoes watching this video. Please go ahead in the comment section and let me know how is your return rate. But if my experience on eBay is anything to go by, I kind of realized that buyers are who they are. It is what it is. Returns are part of the process. You're going to get people buying your clothes and they're going to test it and realize that it doesn't really fit the way they expected. Then they're going to return it. Doesn't matter. People return all sorts of stuff. If you go on Amazon, you go on eBay, you go on a lot of the online marketplaces, it's the same. There's no one category that is immune against this plague. So if you are actually pivoting to sell clothing and thinking that you're going to get less returns or less headache, Paleotech, I'm sorry, bro, or you might have to reconsider that point. And the next thing I really want to stress again is that Paleotech is very, very positive about pivoting. That's great. This is a mindset that you should actually have. I think I already covered this point before. I don't know why it came back again on my list, but just to put it there one more time, it's great to always have a positive mindset. It doesn't matter what you want to do, as long as you are set out to succeed, you have this motivation to succeed. You see, positivity is one of the tools that you have to put in front. You have to have this positive mindset, which Paleotech is pretty much very positive. There is no negativity. He doesn't see any failure. And he also said, if in the worst case situation, clothing doesn't work, he's also open to pivoting his business. Again, this is a great mindset. And this is a mindset that you all out there also should have, especially when you are determined to want to succeed. This kind of positive mindset is very great. It has zero tolerance for negativity. And I want to encourage you out there to have this kind of mindset. The last point is very, very interesting. And I really respect you, Paleotech, for this point. In fact, my respect for you has just suddenly increased because in the video you said you're not going to be teaching anybody anymore, at least for now. You said you're going to go ahead and learn these things, and then let's say 5, 10, 15 years, you may pretty much come back and begin to teach what you have learned. That is the very thing I want to talk about, because right here on the YouTube street, you pretty much see everybody acting like a guru, and this is not the best. It's not healthy. It's not the best thing to do, especially when you don't have the experience, you don't have the evidence to back up your claim. Everybody just comes here on YouTube. Everybody wants to be seen like the authority in a particular category. Everybody wants to be seen as an authority when it comes to selling on eBay. Everybody knows the right recipe to use to jack up your eBay sales. You know, this is sometimes it's just a little bit too much. But for somebody to actually come out to tell you point blank and say, look, guys, I'm not going to be teaching you right now. I'm also learning myself. And it's going to take a while for me to become a guru that will be able to teach you. And for now, don't just expect any teaching video from me. I'm going to be learning and documenting my process. This is full transparency. If there's a definition of transparency, I really do think that this is the exact definition. This guru thing, believe me, is doing more harm than good. Nobody wants to tell you anymore that, look, I'm also learning like you. Everybody just wants to show or appear like I'm 100 miles ahead of you. And I do not know the intention why people do this, but ultimately, like we see on YouTube, it's all intended to build a following and then sell them something at the end of the day. Perhaps a course, perhaps a mentorship program. You see, I still do think that this idea or this method is the best, which is to tell people that, look, I'm not better than you. I have my struggles. I have my challenges. I'm learning while I'm doing. And let's say I'm able to figure it out in the next 5, 6, 10, up to 15 years. I'm pretty much open to share with you the steps, the things I did to make it to the top. And this is big respect for you, bro. I really do want to wish you good luck in your new endeavors. Make haste slowly. Don't be in a hurry to scale, like you said. Take it easy. Understand the market. Understand that there are ups and downs in business. And with the positive mindset that you have, I see no reason why you shouldn't figure it out as soon as possible. If this video has helped you, once again, do me a favor. Go ahead and like it. Subscribe to the channel to see similar content. Until I see you again, peace.